Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Building It Online podcast, a podcast all about the successes, failures, and learnings from growing businesses online. What's up, listener? Bryce here today, and I'm with Dan Whitmer and Brandon Epstein of the Jump Rope Dudes. Hello, dudes.
What
Nice. What's going on, man?
Dude, thanks so much for coming on the pod today. Dan and Brandon run the world's largest fitness brand dedicated exclusively to jump rope. Is that correct?
You got it.
Yeah, at least for media. I don't know about if all jump rope put together.
I got that from your website. So it's a bold claim, but I was going for it.
Yeah, okay, Brandon, we got to talk. I'm just kidding.
No, but Dan and Brandon are two of the most inspirational entrepreneurs that I've met out there. We met back in Medellin like a few years ago, and these guys have grown one of the coolest brands and businesses that I've ever seen. And so, of course, when we were looking for people to get on the podcast, I reached out to these two guys, and they were kind enough to come on and share their stories today. So just to like jump in and get started, what is the Jump Rope Dudes? Like, what are you guys up to over there?
What do we do, Dan? What are we doing at the Jump Rope Dude?
Well, basically we make it's a lot of content centered around jumping rope and just helping people lose weight and live a good life. So the main outlet that we have for that is a YouTube channel. And basically what we do is we create workouts. We'll travel around the world and host meetups with people in person. We do tutorials, but anything just to get people up and moving on a daily basis is really what we're all about.
And you guys have built a really big community. So I checked earlier today and you were at 520,000 YouTube subscribers. So
Yep.
That's quite the massive audience that you've gained. How long did it take you guys to get to that number?
B, you want to take this one?
Yeah.
You just want to go back and forth?
Sure. It's coming up on 4 years, actually. In about a month, it'll be 4 years. So I think we released our first video early October 2015.
And how'd you guys meet? How'd this all get started?
We met in Austin, Texas. Actually, Bryce, that's where we met you.
It is. We all met in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas, man, that's the hub.
Magical spot.
I know, it really is. Like we lived in the same apartment building and randomly met because like Brandon had some t-shirt on that I asked him about it or whatever. We like became friends and then started hanging out all the time. Then we became like best bros and then just decided we had an idea in mind, and he was coming from the world of like peak performance, and I had like lost a bunch of weight jumping rope, and so we were like, I think there's a place for this in online media or YouTube. So we just decided to join forces.
Yeah, and it took a while to decide to do this, but like Dan and I found some lightning in a bottle when we lived in Austin because we started running these rooftop workouts just for free for all of our friends. Bryce, do you ever go to those?
I went to one of those, and I had such a blast.
They were fun. They were a good time.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. And so I think just seeing how pumped everyone was on like Dan and I working together, we had that good mesh of energy. Dan like led more of the HIIT style workout. I led more like the cool down meditation afterwards. And so for me, like it took a while before we actually started the business. It was almost a year after that, but that was like one of those moments, where you're in the zone with someone, and I think Dan and I, we looked each other in the eyes, we smiled, and our eyes glistened, and we said, you know what? It might be.
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened.
And so was the Jump Rope Dudes your first business? Was that your first foray into the online business world, or had you guys done something before that?
Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to do outside of when I graduated college. So I was really into meditation and mindset training. So I launched a mobile app company making a bunch of meditation apps. So I was like going pretty far down that path before Dan and I met. And it was very fortuitous that I was going through a transition and actually let my business partner buy me out around the time Dan and I connected. So I was ready for the next thing.
Yeah. And before that, I had started like a small brand for like 6 months. It was called Base Jump. It actually was exactly what we're doing now, but it was just me by myself. But before that, I was selling software. Like I had mostly corporate types of jobs.
So you guys met in Austin. You're doing rooftop workouts, and then where did the jump rope dudes really get started?
October 15th, Medellin, Colombia. Because we decided, so Brandon and I started a podcast together, and we called it the Zen Dude Fitness Podcast. And that was like just kind of us being, sharing like what we cared about and everything that we wanted to talk about with fitness, but just, from our perspective. And so it started out as that. And I think, Brandon, how long did we do that? Maybe like 6 or 8 months. And then, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're doing the podcast actually when I was living in Barcelona.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we were even like a thing, and then we decided October 15th, 2015 was when I like went down there, and we were like, okay, like this is real. Like we're really going all in on this.
Yeah.
And then
I remember the exact conversation actually. I was in Barcelona, and I was like, like Dan and I had been doing the podcast for like 5 or 6 months, and I was like, man, I really think there's something here. I remember being like, dude, I just think you should come down to Medellin, and Dan agreed. And then it was like neither of us had any idea what was going to happen, if it was going to work out or whatever, but we just said, fuck it, let's roll.
So true.
That's amazing. Did you have a lot of traction with the podcast at that time, or was it really just like you two working together that was going so well?
No, yeah, we had no traction. Like that I laugh because like all of the signs, like we really just did this on like blind faith. Like we didn't like sit down and be like, I mean, obviously we felt like we had a very good idea. I think we both felt that there was a place in the market for what we wanted to talk about, and especially for jump rope, just because it was an underappreciated way of losing weight, getting fit, and all that stuff. But we really didn't have any thought at least, I'll speak for myself. Other than that, we kind of just went down there and we're like, okay, let's, I guess, make YouTube videos all the time and hope that takes off. Like that was really the plan. And
then that's when we all met, because then I moved to Medellin and moved in with you, Dan. So you guys just cranking YouTube videos every single day.
Yeah, that was such a great time. That was a great time in life.
I have a ton of respect for you guys, because I remember down in Medellin when we were talking about stuff, and you guys were just insanely dedicated to getting out a ton of high quality videos on YouTube. And every day I think I just watch you guys meet up, shoot videos, plan videos, edit videos. And that was what you did for the whole, I think, year we were down there together.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking back on it, that was pretty much that was like the daily routine. Just like, because we didn't have, we were new, and we didn't really know we didn't know what was going to work. So we had to try every different angle. But the front part of that, or the front end of that, was always, we had to make great content if we were ever going to be able to get seen.
Yeah. And so how's that changed over the last couple of years? You went from doing a bunch of videos in Medellin to what are y'all's big focus these days?
Yeah. Well, now we're living in Los Angeles, actually right next to Venice Beach Pier. And we're in a different season of the business, I'd say. I feel like we've learned a lot about like what our business is going to be. And like in the past, when you go through these different stages of business, you have different ideas of like, okay, what is this going to be? It's going to be a big company. We're going to hire all these employees. And then we realized that, like we would actually be happier keeping this more as a lifestyle business. And so we just have to fuel that by continuing to put out good content, supporting the community, and then releasing good programs and continue to partner with our company that we work with, Crossrope, to put out good products. So we've just simplified a ton. And it's just, we have a very small team. It's highly profitable business and doesn't require a ton of time. So this is exactly kind of, though, for me personally, this is what I always wanted out of the business. It was more about being able to contribute to something, but also have like tons of time freedom, just being able to do whatever we want.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have so much respect for you guys, because I remember when we talked a while back and we were discussing ideas about what you guys could be doing to monetize on your YouTube channel. We were throwing out a bunch of ideas, and you guys were just like, we could do all these things, but all we want to do is make videos. Like that's the only thing we want to focus on. And you guys have built a business where that's really all you do, and pretty much everything else, like you're not doing the manufacturing of the jump ropes and all this other stuff. So I think it's incredible the way you guys have set stuff up. And I think a lot of people recognize how you guys have been able to build this like really amazing business that, supports the lifestyle that you guys were talking about, building for a long time.
Well, and I think the type of business we have too, it being like specifically about jump rope and fitness, like instead of viewing it as like a big company and this thing that we need to, grow into, it's more just like it's us documenting our life, what we're interested in, and how fitness can be a part of that, and hopes to help other people live a good life too. You know what I mean? So I think it's, like Brandon said, it's a very small part of like what we enjoy doing or what we hope to become in life. And I think like, that's just I wish like if anyone's like listening to this podcast that is thinking about like, oh, I want to start a business, like really ask yourself what you're trying to get from it. I think we kind of live in a world sometimes where people are just like, if you have a great idea, you should turn it into this massive operation and make as much money as you want, without asking themselves like, what impact am I trying to have on the world, and what am I actually trying to do on a daily basis?
Very wise words. So, going from shooting videos in Medellin to where you're at now in LA, what have been some of your biggest perspectives on what's changed and on what you kind of see as possible with your business and just with life in general? Like going through this journey in these different stages of business, have there been like some big aha moments where you're like, oh wow, like I see a new perspective now having gotten to this vantage point?
Yeah. Well, I'll just say the biggest one for me was having that experience going into the unknown and then staying consistent with something with no idea that it's going to work out and no proof that your efforts are going to be rewarded, but like being able to stay consistent with something and then having it work out on the other side is just very rewarding. And it just kind of opens up a part of your mind to, ooh, okay, so this worked here. So how else does this apply to my life? Whether it's like a skill I want to learn, or maybe it's a relationship I want to see through, or maybe it's some other venture that I want to create. Is just jump rope dudes for me really opened up my mind. I was like, whoa. So if you just stay consistent and focused and you really stick with the plan, then magic can happen.
I totally agree with Brandon. That was like, the consistency thing was huge. The teacher of like, oh yeah, if you just do something forever, you'll probably have like some success in it,
Yeah, because everything, me personally, that hasn't worked out, it's just not worked out because I haven't done it long enough. And like things I'm learning right now, it's the same thing. It's, well, why aren't I really good at this? Well, I haven't been doing it long enough. And so I think that's one thing that gets lost in like the internet marketing, social media stuff that you see on Instagram or YouTube. You just see someone, you're like, oh, they're lucky. They're just so good at making videos. But they don't see like the fact that like, for our videos, for example, we started shooting them on iPhones and both editing them ourselves and just doing complete nonsense. And it was just
they're so bad.
Yeah. It took a long time to get to where we are. And that really applies to everything in life.
Now you're shooting drone videos on the LA beaches. Your videos look fantastic these days.
Thank you. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate that. It's just doing it, like Brandon said, over and over. I think that what's that Conor McGregor quote about, I'm not talented, I'm obsessed. Like, I think that's such a great quote, because I think that applies to so many things. If you're obsessed with it and you do it all the time, you're probably going to get pretty good at it.
Yep, definitely. I've definitely experienced the same thing. Just keeping at something for long enough and things tend to start working once you get better after lots and lots of repetitions.
Yeah, like this podcast. You got to do it for years, at least.
Definitely. So what have been some of the best things that have come from you guys from having started your business, now where you're at? Like, what have been some of the best life things that have come from like getting outside of the business world? What have been some of the best things that have come from starting the Jump Rope Dudes?
Traveling, right? Like, we were in Africa earlier this year leading an event in Botswana. We got to go to Malawi. We've been just privileged to be able to travel a lot. So for me personally, that's been a huge thing, because I always wanted my business to fuel my travel, to see the world. And we've done that, man. We've done some crazy stuff in Africa, eating mice on the side of the road, playing soccer, like, you know, just some kids in the countryside just pulling over and watching the sunset like we're in some kind of movie. We've had like epic experiences of travel and adventure just through this business. So that's it for me.
No, I would say the exact same thing. I think it's been the ability to, I mean, when anyone and people who are listening to this, like when you start a business that is mainly driven by media, that opens up this whole world of like freedom and free time and free location. Like you don't need to be anywhere. So I would say like, I would take this lifestyle over staying in one place and trying to really grow this into some like huge business, because like Brandon said, we've been able to have some like amazing experiences that like I'm forever grateful for, just like in the past couple of years, just because of like how we've set things up.
Dude, definitely. That's amazing. So yeah, so what's next for the Jump Rope Dudes? What's on the agenda?
I feel like we're just gonna keep this thing rolling. We've got a really nice niche in jump rope fitness. So we have an awesome partnership. Like we have a company that we work with, the jump rope company Crossrope, that just hustles on innovation and really making the best products in the game. So they make our lives easy. As long as we keep on creating great media and they keep creating great products, I feel like we're in a good spot.
Yeah. How'd you guys find them? Did you guys find each other through the stuff you were doing on YouTube, or did you know them before?
I actually made I had this like jump rope channel before Brandon and I did it together, which was called Base Jump. And I made a review. I don't even know where I heard of this jump rope, but I bought one and I did like a review of it. And then Dave, the CEO, hit me up and was like, hey, like, thanks for reviewing the jump rope. I enjoyed the video. Like, why don't, we should like, I'll send you some, and you could become an affiliate partner. And by that time we had started Jump Rope Dudes, and it just made sense. Like they just care so much about the product, and they make such a great product that like, it really is a good, like we're enthusiastic about what they're doing and what they're like doing to the sport and like the fitness tool of jump rope.
Sweet. Yeah. And there's huge power in finding those partnerships in business for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, cool guys. That's kind of all the questions I had. I have a few like lightning round questions just to kind of wrap it up. Nothing big, but like the quick 3 questions would be favorite books or podcasts.
Ooh, my favorite podcast is Hot Box with Mike Tyson.
Mine would probably, the one I probably watch the most is Joe Rogan. And then, yeah.
Fantastic.
I really like Sapiens and Homo Deus. Those are probably my favorite books I read.
Oh man. Favorite books? I feel like all I watch is YouTube tutorials. No, I would have to say probably The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Like that book is just such a like staple, I feel like, in my life.
It's a great one. All right. And if you guys could create a board of advisors for your business with 3 people alive or dead, who would they be?
Mike Tyson.
Board of advisors for the business. It's weird because I feel like Dan and I don't really think about our business that way, to where we'd be like, it'd be so dope to have this guy advising us, because I feel like no one, I don't know, maybe it's not true, but I feel like there wouldn't be a lot of advice to give us that we wouldn't already be taking. Like we're kind of doing what we want to do.
Brandon, we could get, come on, Tony Robbins, Maverick Carter, Kobe Bryant.
Maybe Gary Vee. Yeah, Gary Vee.
Magic Johnson. Yeah, Gary Vee, like Magic Johnson. That's pretty good.
That would be a pretty good board of advisors.
I don't know. Gary might be too intense for us, though. He might try to get us to do a bunch of stuff we don't. We're like, dude, no.
He'd want you to do more content.
I know. We can't do anymore.
Why aren't you on TikTok?
I'm already doing all the content I can. I can't do anymore.
Did you hear about TikTok? Are you on TikTok? How about Snapchat? Huh? Twitter? Let's go.
All right. Last question. If you guys had to start all over again tomorrow, what are the first 3 things you would do? That's
a great question.
First 3 things. I feel like hyper target our niche, I
was going to say, try to learn the marketing side of it earlier. Like when we figured out like the types of titles and stuff to make videos.
Yeah. Would it be just to create the same business again, Bryce, or like a new business?
I mean, you can choose that. You can choose to just start over and do the same thing all over again.
Okay.
Buy a camera, crank content, start a YouTube channel.
I think immediately get hyper niched into jump rope for weight loss.
That's
the SEO game. Once we figured out SEO, that went a long way for speeding up our process.
Your business is so good that if you had to start all over again tomorrow, you would just start the exact same business and do the exact same thing you're doing.
No, totally not true. No. We did we messed up we've messed up so many times. Like, we've spent dumb money on things we shouldn't have. Like, you just can't grow a business without making those mistakes. Like, you have to go through that, and we definitely have made a lot of them, but like, you just keep, like, we didn't focus on jump rope for about Brendan, like a year. It was like jump rope and like mindfulness type stuff, which was really cool. I just don't think it wasn't like as niche, like Brandon said. So we didn't like connect with people as fast.
Yeah. Like the things I just mentioned, like we're all doing all those things now, but it took a long time for each one to get figured out, Yeah. So we could have saved a lot of time by just figuring stuff out faster.
Part of the process, part of the journey.
You always want to be faster, but it takes as long as it takes.
Yep.
So true.
Definitely. Well, dudes, that's all the questions that I have for today. Thank you so much for your time and coming on to the pod.
Yeah, thank you for having us, man.
Yeah. If someone wanted to check out the Jump Rope Dudes, what's the best way to find you guys?
YouTube, Jump Rope Dudes.
Jump Rope Dudes.
Or jumpropedudes.com.
Yep.
Or Instagram, official Jump Rope Dudes.
Boom.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll make sure all those links are in the show notes so that people can find you guys. Any last words of wisdom for anyone listening?
Bryce Gump is an awesome guy, and you should listen to his podcast.
Subscribe. Smash that subscribe button.
Hit the
Thanks for having us
button.
on, man. Really appreciate it.
Definitely. Thank you guys so much for your time. If you really like this podcast, be sure to hit the subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes, because that's how the internet works. And we'll do another one of these very soon, next week. So come back for more. Jump Rope Dudes, Dan, Brandon, thank you so much. And we'll hope you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.
You too. Thanks, Bryce. Appreciate it.
Later.